These brooders are amazing. I couldn't be happier with this company.
We absolutely love these cages.
One at a time, okay, guys?
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another Coturnix Corner Live. Glad you guys could join us tonight. Looks like we got a few people in the house already tonight, so that's a good thing. I don't have really anything planned for you guys tonight. I'm working on getting a couple guests to come on. Rebecca Lynch from Thieving Otter Farm is going to be coming on in the near future to talk about celadons, keeping celadons and how to breed and keep that color going, or keep that egg color going. So that ought to be pretty interesting. I've got a few other people that I've talked to, but I haven't heard anything back yet. So as soon as I do, this time of year is kind of, we're getting close to Christmas and everything, so kind of slows down a little bit. But for those of you who haven't checked in a while, you noticed on our opener, we had Thieving Otter Farm advertisement playing, and Rebecca Lynch has reached out to Coturnix Corner and offered to be the official sponsor for this year. And we really appreciate it because, she does a lot for the channel as far as, donating hatching eggs and whatnot for the giveaways and coming on the channel, and sharing her knowledge with you. So it is much appreciated. I do want to give a shout out to both of our sponsors at this time, Thieving Otter Farm and hatchingtime.com. Check out their websites, thievingotterfarm.com or hatchingtime.com. They, like I say, they do a lot for the channel. Hatching Time donates a $50 gift certificate every week to give away. Thieving Otter Farm donates hatching eggs to give away, so that is much appreciated. We are going to be doing some giveaways, but before I get to that, I want to give a shout out to our moderator. I haven't seen him in here yet. Carrie Blackman from Double R Farms has stepped up and offered to be a moderator for the channel or for the live streams, and that's much appreciated. So anyhow, we are going to be doing a couple giveaways tonight. We have a $50 Hatching Time gift certificate. It's going to go to one lucky winner. Carrie's in the house right now. Carrie, I'm not seeing that you are a moderator, so I'm going to add you right now. Yes, I'll do it in a second. I can't get past that stupid heart thing on there. There we go. All right, Carrie, you are now a moderator again. Okay, Hatching Time gift certificate, $50 gift certificate is going to go out to one lucky person in the chat room tonight. We are also going to be giving away a 20 count of mixed hatching eggs from Thieving Otter Farm. So thanks, Rebecca, for that. And also Jennifer Bryant of Bryant's Roost has donated a 30 count of hatching eggs to give away on tonight's program. One other thing I want to point out, a couple other things I want to point out. If you guys are around Sunday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, don't forget to join us on Morning Musings, Coffee and Quail with Terry. It's every Sunday at 9 a.m. Eastern. It's a good time, guys. We just kind of hang out and talk about whatever. Doesn't have to be quail related. Last couple live streams, I think we talked more about honeybees and homesteading than pretty much everything else. So it's a good time. We just hang out, drink some coffee, and chat about whatever. Let's see. Also, I want to mention that the American Coturnix Breeders Association meeting is, I believe, tomorrow. Rebecca, I see that you're in the house. If I'm correct and that meeting is tomorrow, please let me know So if you guys are interested, you can check out the meeting. It's a Zoom type meeting, I believe, and more information's on their website, which is coturnixbreeders.com. So, okay, this week we had our judges over on the coturnixcorner.com website select the Coturnix Kid Project winner for the month. And we are going to go ahead and announce that right now. And the winner is Lucas Rinalda. Lucas is 9 years old. And he typed in saying, I was helping mommy pull out the weeds. I started picking up the plants with no gloves. Then I wanted some gloves in case some of them poisoned me or put thorns in me. I asked mommy, can I have gloves? And then I started picking at most of the plants. And mommy picked some thorns on accident. So, Lucas, sorry about that. Thank you very much for your entry. We got some great prizes that we are going to be sending out to you. Homestead Harvest is going to be sending a 40-pound bag of starter feed. Hatching Time is going to send out a 2-unit layer cage to get you started with quail. Thieving Otter Farm will send you some hatching eggs, and Bryant's Roost sends out a incubator to get you started. And then Coturnix Corner donates a Coturnix Kids personalized tumbler, so you're going to get your own drink tumbler. And the Coturnix Corner community purchases a $25 Tractor Supply gift certificate, so you'll get that also. And Sunny Place Homestead will send out some water, feeders, and egg scissors for you to get you started. So we will go ahead and get that stuff shipped out to you this week. And the last thing that you're going to get will be your hatching eggs. We want to make sure that you've got your incubator and all your other stuff first before Rebecca sends out your hatching eggs. So congratulations on the win, Lucas. Really appreciate your entry, and it's good to see that you're out helping Mom in the garden. So that's wonderful. What else do I have to point out? I'm going to go ahead and plug Gulf Coast Quail again, guys. That's my side business related to quail. We are making signs. I got a couple different types of signs, but this is probably the most popular one right now. It's basically you can get your farm name put on here, the state you're in if you want. Actually, that could say whatever you want. And then the year that your business was established. Check out GulfCoastQuail.com if you want any more information on that. And also, we just released a new incubator kit for the DIY box incubator that we do here on the channel. We just released a video this morning, I believe it was, which is the assembly video for that DIY box. If you're interested in that, it's also on the GulfCoastQuail.com website. So check that out. All right, I think that's about it. Yep, I believe that's it for right now. So let's go ahead. We're going to jump over into the chat room and see who all's in the house and what they've got going on in their lives today. I'm on the wrong computer as always. If you guys have any questions, type the letter Q by your question. Actually, it doesn't really matter because it's not like we got a guest tonight anyhow. So just go ahead and post whatever you want in the chat room. Dragon Girls in the house. Good afternoon, everyone, from a very soggy Washington State. And here we go again. This thing is, I don't understand it. Why it's not picking up all the comments that I'm seeing over there. It's weird. Sometimes it gets them. I guess they're just not in the right order. I don't know. Nabiki's in the house. Says hello. I'm on time today. Glad you could join us, Nabiki. She's one of our regulars over on the Coturnix or the Morning Musings. Jeremiah Allen's in the house. Says good afternoon from a very warm, for this time of year, Northern California. We actually have a cold front coming through. Tonight's not going to be as cold as tomorrow night. It's supposed to be down in the 40s. And for Florida, that's pretty darn chilly. I'll probably have a jacket out by then. Jessica Kelly's in the house. Says good afternoon from Eastern Oregon. Glad you could join us, Jessica. And here is one of our judges on the Coturnix Kids panel, Mary Howard. Good evening, everyone. Hope you have all revived from the Thanksgiving stuffing and are about back to normal. I still got a couple pounds that I got to lose, Mary. I don't know. It's just that whole week of eating. But I got to lose a little bit so I can chow down on Thanksgiving Day. Gary Ray's in the house. Is good evening from northern Indiana. Glad you could join us, Gary. Carrie Blackman's in the house. Is good evening, everyone. Carrie Blackman is one of our moderators here on the channel. I really appreciate all that you do for us, Carrie. Mary's talking to Dragon Girl. Yes, we are wet like inside the shower here too, and it's cold. Hibiki talking to Mary. Already thinking about Christmas dinner. Yep, me too. Joshua Lawson's in the house. Says hello from West Virginia. Glad you could join us, Joshua. Lauren says, hey, everyone. Hey, Lauren. Glad you are here. Mary tells Hibiki, yep, me too. Not cooking again. Woohoo. Yep, I got to have a traditional Christmas dinner this year because I ain't got any quail anymore, so can't have quail for dinner. Couldn't have quail for Thanksgiving, so we had turkey. But we are going to be remedying that after the first of the year. Got a lot of plans set up for how I'm going to set the birds up outside and whatnot. Nabiki said the chicken rooster that some kids brought me is pretty sure he wants to be invited to Christmas dinner. Cool. He doesn't realize he's the main course. Fawn Taylor says, good evening, all quail lovers. Glad you joined us, Fawn. Albright Farm Studio says hello from Sisters, Oregon. Glad you could join us. Child of God's in the house says hello from Indiana. Glad you could join us. Folster Farm says hello all. Olive's in the house is so excited for this live. I just had 4 Thieving Otter Farm eggs hatch and went into the brooder yesterday morning. Congratulations. I'll bet you are loving that. Demiki says, I have 1 lone chick from Thieving Otter Farm. He's not growing like he should, but at least I found a hen that gets along with him. Did you have a poor hatch or something, Abiki? Not talking to me. Creative Exotics in the house is good evening, everyone. Glad you could join us. They got different kind of rain out there in Washington. It's called thick rain. Joy Guthrie's in the house. Says, hello all from Western Oregon. Got a lot of people from Oregon in here. Thieving Otter Farms is joining us. Says, hello, friends. Glad you could join us, Rebecca. And thank you for your hatching egg donation. Fred says, enter me in the contest. Everyone who is in the chat room is automatically entered for the giveaways. As long as I can remember. I try to, pick them out as I'm going, but sometimes I forget to write them down. Fang Zhao, one of our recent winners, is in the house, says good evening. Carrie Blackman says that is awesome. Thieving Otter Farm says awesome, Carrie. Chris says, hey, Terry, Cindy, and Chris from Indiana. Glad you guys could join us. Rusty Haskins is in the house, says good evening. Annie G says, just hatched my first quail. 24 went into the brooder today. 2 more are drying off. Cool, congratulations. I can't wait to get hatching again. Matter of fact, I messaged Rebecca and said I may need some hatching eggs in the near future. So it's funny how you miss them, because I've had quail for a little better than 6 years, and this is the first time that I've ever been completely without quail. So it's kind of weird, walking out into at one time the quail room. Now it's my wood shop, but not hearing roosters crowing in the morning or not seeing any birds. I do have a half a dozen Rhode Island Reds out there that Double R Farms sent me. They're fixing to go outside probably within the next week or two. Let's see. Nabiki says, talking to Thieving Otter Farm, awesome that you're sponsoring the channel. Yeah, that was, I was so happy that Rebecca, stepped up to be a sponsor for Coturnix Corner, because for those of you who don't know, Michael Rose kind of stepped back a little bit. He's still active, but he's no longer shipping hatching eggs, and a lot of people in the Coturnix Corner community, that's what they knew Southwest Game Birds for, was the hatching eggs and everything. But he is still going to be shipping live birds and selling live birds, and also Michael has the CC Quail, which is Quailology. It's ccquail.com is the current website, but I believe they are fixing to move over to, it might be quailology.com. I'm not 100% sure, but that is highly recommended, guys. If you are serious about quail and you want to learn from a true professional, Michael's course is amazing. It's got a lot of great information in there. I'm really excited to see how they're going to lay it out when they move over to this new platform that they're going to be going over to. So check it out. It's ccquail.com, and go ahead and get registered, and it is a pay site right now. And I'm sure it's going to continue to be a pay site once it moves over to the new platform. But get in there. There's a lot of great information in there. This is the time of year to start really honing your skills when it comes to quail, because hatching season is going to be coming up in no time. Right after the first of the year, it seems like everybody starts jumping on the hatching bandwagon, and it really gets going. Okay. Fangs out, talking to Thieving Otter Farm, says Rebecca, thanks. I got the 20 eggs in the incubator now. 13 days left to hatching day. Cool. Sure you will be really excited in about 2 weeks. Alex says, hi from Pennsylvania. Finally caught a Thursday live. Today's Tuesday. Learning so much from you and Rebecca and Michael lately by rewatching your videos and your live streams. Cool. I'm glad. That's one of the main reasons we bring the guest on, because they've got so much good information to share with you, and I appreciate all the guests that show up, Michael and Rebecca especially, because they do a lot for the channel. Lauren says, update, my little Sarama hen can monitor about 8 eggs. 12 was a bit much for the little lady. Cool. Tony's in the house. Says, hi from Toronto. Glad you could join us, Tony. Vaughn Taylor says, eggs, please, for the giveaway. Talking to Nabiki. Let's see. Deanna Dalton's in the house. Says, hi from New York. Finally made alive. Glad you could. Yeah, we're doing all right. I mean, there's not a ton of people in here, but 75 people, not bad. If you guys want, you go ahead and hit that like button, because that really helps, especially on the Coturnix, on this live stream. Not so much the morning live, but on this live stream, it tells YouTube, the algorithms kind of pick that up, and it tells YouTube, that you're enjoying the channel and whatnot. And then they show, some of our videos a little bit more, in the search results. So if you could hit that like button, I would appreciate it. Double R Farm says, I love Coffee with Terry on Sundays. Yeah, it's pretty cool. You guys got to check it out. I mean, it's so laid back. There's no real format to it. We just kind of hang out and talk and enjoy our coffee. Usually, though, by the time the live stream starts, which is 9 a.m. Eastern, I've already had enough coffee in me, so I'm on water. But it's very enjoyable. Double R Farms is ACBA is the first Wednesday of the month. Is that not tomorrow? Let me look at the calendar. What did I do? Yeah, that is tomorrow. So, guys, if you're interested in the American Coturnix Breeders Association, check it out. If you go to, like I said earlier, the coturnixbreeder.com website, there's links, I believe, over there, over to the live stream, or not the live streams, but the meetings, which, like I said earlier, is a Zoom type meeting. So check that out. I actually missed the last couple of meetings, but that's because I'm old and forgetful, so you got to forgive me for that. Fred says, are you going to create a video showing the finishing the incubator? No, Fred, we just did the assembly video for the cabinet, the one that we're actually selling. That pretty much will get you to where you're ready to start installing the fans and the regulator and that kind of stuff. Then you can refer back to the first video, the DIY box video. I didn't want the assembly video to be this big, long, drawn-out thing. And we were talking earlier, before we made these kits available, about possibly doing a full kit, which is going to include the fans, the regulator, the heat source. But I don't think I'm going to go that route. I think I'm just going to keep it as a cabinet, because I'm already finding out that cutting out all the foam and running it all through the CNC is taking not real long, but it's keeping me busy. And then to have to package up other stuff, fans and regulators and whatnot. I don't know. Maybe in the future, but for right now, I don't want to bite off more than I can chew. If you understand what I mean there. GIS Herps is in the house, is monitoring from Sweet Home, Alabama. Glad you could join us. Katie's in the house, is hello from Southern California. Glad you could join us, Katie. Thieving Otter Farm says, sure is, meeting is only open to members, but a recording is available on the YouTube after the meeting. Okay, I didn't know that. I thought the meeting was open to the public. At least it was back when you guys first started. At least I thought it was. All right. Anyhow, if you guys are interested, you want to go to the meetings, join ACBA, and you can join us over there. Or like Rebecca said, watch them here on YouTube afterwards. CAM's in the house. 3 hearts. Glad you could join us. Yeah, Double R Farm said, Fred, there's a video on the YouTube channel posted earlier today. Yeah, that was the assembly video. And sorry it's not more professional, but I just haven't had a whole lot of time to, sit down in front of the camera, but I wanted to get that out there for you guys. I might actually redo it in the future and make it really simple. Just, like show what all the parts are, and then step 1, do this, step 2, do that, just to make it a little bit easier. But for now, that one's going to have to work. Thieving Otter Farm says, congratulations, Lucas. Absolutely. Alex Grove says, congrats, Lucas. Talking to Foster Farms. Bolster Farms says, congratulations, Lucas. Yeah, that was really a nice write-up, and I'm glad the judges selected Lucas for this month. Chris says, wow, that's an awesome prize. Yeah, talking about the kits for the Coturnix Kids project. Yeah, they got a lot of nice stuff, and I really appreciate the sponsors of that program for helping out. Cam says, nice starter kit. Rusty says, thank you. Hatching Time, Thieving Otter Farms, and Bryant's Roost. Absolutely. There you go. Olive wants to know where they can find the video afterwards. I think if you look up American Coturnix Breeders Association, do a search here on YouTube, I think that's their channel, and it'll pop right up. Or maybe just ACBA. I don't know. Bang says, wow, that's a great number of gifts. Too bad I don't have a kid. Yeah, that's pretty funny. That's not a good enough reason, though, to have a kid. Dragon Girl says, congratulations, Lucas. Absolutely. Nabiki says, the kids get a great prize. I think it's awesome that they're getting everything they need to get started. Yeah, it's a really good package. And everybody that stepped up, they're awesome. This is Hatching Time's second year as far as donated cages. I really appreciate that. Anita Garrett hooked us up with Homestead Harvest for the feed, so that was really nice. I don't know who that is, but they say congrats. Luis says, when do you announce the giveaway? If you're talking about the giveaways for the hatching eggs and whatnot, that's done at the end of the live stream. If you're talking about the Coturnix Kids Project giveaways, that's once a month, usually the first Tuesday of each month. Vaughn Taylor says, congratulations, Lucas. You did good. Absolutely. Gary Ray says, nice starter kit. I feel like a kid sometimes. And for those of you who have kids, if you're interested in getting them entered into the Coturnix Kids Project or program, head on over to coturnixcorner.com. And at the top nav bar, there's a link that says Coturnix Kids Project. Just click on that. It's got a big, long, not a big write-up, but, a small write-up on some of the stuff that we're looking for and what they need to do to enter. And then there's a space over there, which is very similar to a Facebook group that you can, it's called Coturnix Kids Project. You can go there and they can enter their project right there. So it's really easy for them. Last year was a little bit different. They had to actually email me that stuff, and then I did the selection. This way, I like it better this way because now we have a panel of judges that monitors that group or that space, and they go through and they select, once a month they select a new winner. So appreciate that. Here's Donna's in the house. Says, congratulations, Lucas. Donna's one of our panel judges for that program. Appreciate it. Hello says, congrats, Lucas. Don says, good evening from South Central Illinois. Glad you could join us tonight, Don. Bob's in the house. Says, congratulations, Lucas. Fang says, my only white quail got scalped completely and lost an eye. These little guys are vicious. Yeah, some of them can be. And some bloodlines are a little bit more aggressive than others. I think you're going to find that with your thieving outer farm eggs, the birds are going to hatch out. They're always really nice, gentle, no signs of aggression whatsoever. So, Double R Farm says, Terry select show all. I did that. It's weird. This program pulls them out from YouTube over here onto I can read them right here instead of having to look in the chat room. I can read them right here on this computer. And for some reason, it pulls them in whatever order it feels like it wants to. So, I don't know. Can't complain, I guess. Mark Garrison House is hi from Arkansas. Glad you could join us. Chris says, how long can baby quail be in the incubator waiting on the rest to hatch? Up to 48 hours is no problem. For the most part, I usually have mine pulled out right after the bulk of them dry out. I'll open up the incubator and get the bulk of them out. But if I do have a few wet ones in there, I'll throw them back in the incubator and let them dry out. But what you want to wait for is to make sure that the majority of your eggs have hatched out. Once you notice that the hatching has pretty much subsided and all the chicks are dry, then you can go ahead and open the incubator and get them out. If they haven't all hatched out yet, or you have some eggs that have pipped, don't open the incubator. You don't want to have a rush of dry air going in the incubator and potentially shrink wrapping the ones that haven't hatched out yet. So, but yeah, they can go up to 48 hours, no problem. I've even heard people say 72 hours. I've never gone that long, but 48 hours is no problem. Emma Ball says, good evening, everyone. Glad you could join us, Emma. Andy Rabbit's in the house. Says, hello. Glad you could join us, Andy. Bob Cole says, howdy, folks, from western New Mexico, way up there in the hills. Andy Rabbit says, congratulations. Maury's in the house. Says, good evening, everyone. Glad you could join us, Maury. Hope your birds are all doing well. Banks says, but I usually move them in batches throughout the hatch. Yeah, I do too. I mean, as they dry off, once I know the bulk of my chicks have hatched out, which is usually late day 17, early day 18, I'll let them dry up, and then I'll, get the bulk of them out. But like I say, if I have some chicks that are still a little bit wet, I'll leave them in the incubator, and also any eggs that haven't hatched, I'll give them another day. But I don't let my incubator go that long. Usually by the end of day 18, I pull the plug. If they're not out of the egg by the end of the day on 18 days, they're late. They're not going to the show. So that's just the way I do things. Thanksgiving keeps on giving. Some extra pounds. We served quail as appetizers. It was very well received. Yeah, I'll bet it was. Andy says hello, Don. Bob's house says hello, Don. And hi, Andy Rabbit. Okay. Alex says, getting started with quail and really appreciate these lives and your videos. Thank you. Absolutely. That's what they are there for, to help you guys out. But I can't take all the credit because a lot of the stuff on this channel, especially live streams, have, a lot of people in there that I consider experts that are sharing their knowledge with you. There's one live stream that I need to recommend, and I should probably do this on every live stream. It's a live with Rebecca Lynch and Jeff Maddox. It's a poultry nutrition live. They've actually done 2 of them. Especially if you're just getting started, those are the type of live streams that you really need to watch. They're a little bit long, but there is so much good information, and it'll get you off on the right foot when it comes to, feeding your quail. I'm guilty of some of the stuff that Jeff says not to do. But like I say, it's a constant learning thing for me. So, but yeah, I started out feeding them the poor feed, and then I moved up into a little bit better feed. And then I moved up even to a better feed after talking with Rebecca and Jeff, about different feeds and which ones are more nutritionally complete. So, okay, everybody saying hi to each other. Corey says, good evening. I just built our first coop. Wife has been studying up on everything quail for spring. Cool. That's the way to do it. Study up, learn what you need to learn, then get your hatching eggs or your live birds and get started. That way, you won't be disappointed if you run into a problem because you didn't do your homework. So, good job. Beaky says, I only had 5 hatch and 4 failed to thrive. I don't know what happened. Yeah, that's kind of, it sounds like a post office issue to me. I mean, to only get 5 of them hatch and then 4 of them not do well at all. Let's see. Emma says, absolutely gutted. Terry, a ginormous rat got some of my quail. 1 dead, 2 injured, but on the mend. Any advice to get rid of these and protect my outside birds? The only thing I could say is make sure, getting rid of rats is really hard. Rats have such large litters. 15. And here's one thing about rats is they'll have a litter and another one will have a litter. And the first one that had the litter will take care of the ones from the second litter. They just keep adding to them. It's like you can't get rid of them. So getting rid of the rats is going to be almost impossible. But protecting your birds from the rats, you're just going to have to go through and really predator-proof your cages. If they're in like an aviary type setting, use a really tight wire. Don't use chicken wire. Use like a 1/2 by 1/2 wire around the whole aviary. And then if your aviary's on the ground, maybe dig down a little bit and bury wire in the ground, put some rocks and stuff in there, just to make it to where the rats can't get underneath. If you got cages that have a wire floor and the rats are, getting up, pulling the birds out through the bottom of the cage, the only other thing that I could recommend is maybe put a false floor in there to where it'd be like you got your floor that your birds are on. You're going to put another wire floor underneath that the rats can't get into, so they can't get up and pull the rats down through the wire. Knock on wood, I've been really lucky about the birds that I keep outside, or that I kept outside. I've never had a problem with the rats, even though I've seen rats around. I've never had them be able to get to my birds. So, yeah, good luck with that. I mean, maybe you could get a cat. I don't know. There's a lot of things that you can use to deter rats. I wouldn't use any type of rat poisoning, because the rats eat it and they die, and then birds of prey eat rats. So they could potentially get poisoned. So, yeah. Debiki says, I kind of think that might have been too cold in the brooder, despite the thermometer saying 97. My house heater stopped working around that time, and it was around 50 inside the house. Yeah, there's definitely an issue. I'm just looking at the point that you only, I don't know how many eggs you set originally, but to only get like 5 of them to hatch out and then 4 of them to do poorly. Thanks. This question: has your hatch chicks killed any hatching eggs by rolling them around? I found 2 were pipped, hole got turned around, and they were glued to the paper towel and died. No, and I know what you mean. It's like they like to play soccer with the unhatched eggs. They're kicking them around and whatnot. I haven't really noticed that. Like I say, I don't do a very long hatch. I let them go till the bulk of my eggs hatch, and then I'll give them maybe 24 hours after that if they're lucky. And then I pull the plug. But for the most part, the eggs getting kicked around, I haven't seemed to notice that really affected my hatch rates at all. So, and a lot of people have asked me that, if quail are kicking the eggs around, is that going to, kill the other birds and the eggs? But I haven't noticed that. And my boss says, caught them in the act too, and was frightening, to be honest. They are big. Yeah, maybe put a rat trap. There's multiple different types of traps that you could set for rats. Yeah, I mean, I hate that problem. I know my neighbor, he got some quail from me for his granddaughter, and she lost all of them. She had them outside in a wire floor cage, and a rat, it was either a rat or a raccoon, pulled them down through the wire and basically tore them up. So yeah, it can be a problem. Well, Foster Farm says, Emma, we use covers on our rollouts and put another bottom layer of wire under the trays. Yeah, absolutely. That's definitely, if you're going to have a rollout cage outside, you definitely want, like a hinged cover that's going to cover your egg rollout. Also, you want to make sure you don't have external feeders, like a J feeder. If you do, make sure that they've got a lid on it, to where they can't get in that way. Louise says, excited for the Terribator. Always wanted to build one, but didn't have the tools. Yeah, I tell you what, this kit is going to make it so easy for those that want to build it, because it's, well, if you watch the assembly video that released this morning, you'll see it. I mean, it's run a little bit of caulk, which is not caulk, it's adhesive glue or foam adhesive. Run it in the groove, stick the part in there. The whole thing goes together like that, so it's really simple. Alex, this question: what incubator do you recommend that I could get in a store like Tractor Supply or Amazon? I have a small one, but not sure if it's going to work anymore. Looking to upgrade. It really depends on what you want to spend. To be honest with you, I'm not a big fan of anything that Tractor Supply sells as far as incubators. If you do get one from Tractor Supply, maybe go with the the Little Giant styrofoam incubator. I've had okay luck with them. I would stay away from the Nurturite 360. That's another one that Tractor Supply sells. But on Amazon, I mean, for as little as $100, like I say, I don't know how much you want to spend, but for as little as $100, you can get a decent incubator. I did a review on one. It's called the Van Popubs. It's an incubator that when I first looked at it, I told the lady, I said, I'm sorry, I don't review entry level incubators just because for the most part they don't do a very good job. And she said, well, let me send you one, test it out. If you don't like it, give it away, throw it away, whatever. If you like it, do a review. I did 2 hatches on it before I reviewed it, and I got excellent hatch rates both times. And it's like $100 incubator. They hold 24 eggs with the supplied turner, but you can get a add-on turner for it for quail eggs. I think it's holds 60 eggs. And but yeah, I mean, for that cheap of a incubator, it does a really good job. If you want to spend a little more money and get something that's going to serve you well for a long time, I can highly recommend any of the Barado units. Brinzy is also a good name. If you want to get a little bit higher end incubator, Hatching Time, the CT series of incubators, is excellent. They're kind of like a plug and play type incubator. Andy Rev says, Terry, you chicken trader. Yeah. Oh, you're talking about my Rhode Island Reds? Yeah, they were given to me by our moderator, which I really appreciate, and he wanted to do a test shipment and send some out and asked me if I'd be interested. So I'm like, yeah, why not? But yeah, they're gonna go out and back. Like all my birds that I keep now have to be kept outside. I'm not keeping anything in the house anymore. Between breathing issues that I was having and my wife's got COPD, it's just not something I can do anymore. Olive's this question: how would someone create a spiral breeding program while maintaining size and conformation? If I'm not mistaken, you have a video, but it is mentioned on how to improve each generation. Rewatching after. Olive, I'm going to be honest with you. When I did that video, I thought that a spiral breeding program was something that you wanted to use to better your flock. But after talking with Michael Rose and watching some of his instructional videos on the quailology course, spiral breeding is a tool that you want to use in your breeding setup. That's why I say I would highly recommend that if you want, go over and join those quailology courses, because the information you're going to get from that course is something that would take you years to learn, through YouTube and, some of the Facebook groups. Michael has put out professional information on that stuff, and that there's no better information out there. But setting up a spiral breeding program is a good thing to do if you have limited breeding groups and you want to keep that bloodline or improve on that bloodline. There's so many steps that you want to go through first to work up to needing a spiral breeding program before you actually jump into it. For the most part right now, I would say you're really not ready for a spiral breeding program. I mean, I don't know how many birds you've got and how long you've been doing it, but use that spiral breeding program to improve on a line or keep a line going that you've already done all the improvements on. I wish I could come up with a better way of explaining that, but like the way Rebecca Lynch works her birds, she goes through and every generation she improves on her line by heavy culling and whatnot. And I don't even think right now that Rebecca is using any spiral breeding programs. If you are, Rebecca, jump in here and let us know and why you're using them and how you're using them. But like I say, Michael explains it as spiral breeding is more of a tool in your breeding program instead of a overall breeding program for your flock. I hope that sounds right. Let's see. Don says, yesterday I had a bird break his beak, caught it in the wire, finally got the blood stop. I used alum, and now it looks like it's healing already. Cool. I've had that happen one time. I had just built the all-wire cages, and I guess the bird found a sharp part on the wire and started pecking at it. And yeah, it was crazy. It was like it started bleeding like crazy. I actually didn't do anything to, I figured the bird, if he's going to make it, he's going to make it. But it actually ended up, it stopped bleeding, within an hour or so, and the bird did fine after that. But yeah, I know what you mean as far as them getting caught in the wire. Gina says, hello, first time getting on here while you're live. Glad you could join us. I'm also so excited to be getting quail in the spring. Cool. Like I tell everybody, and somebody mentioned earlier, learn all you can, especially if this is your first time. A lot of great information out there, a lot of good people, willing to help you out. Check out, if you're on Facebook, check out the Coturnix Corner Facebook group over there. There's a lot of great people in there. And then Coturnix Corner is more of the Coturnix Corner Facebook is more of an entry level there's a lot of beginners in there, a lot of people that know what they're doing, but they're in there to help out the beginners. And then once you kind of graduate a little bit, maybe step into one of the genetics group, like Coturnix Colors and Genetics. There's different stages, I guess, of groups over there that can help you out. Olive says, I'm assuming heavy culls. Absolutely. Culling is your best friend when it comes to improving your stock. I was getting to, Rebecca, I know she worked on the program for aggression, but I was doing the exact same thing. I was culling for aggression. And back when I had an unmentioned bloodline, I ended up culling like 100% of the bloodline just because it was too aggressive. Couldn't do anything with it. So Andy Rabbit says, I'm just joking, I hope, Terry. Oh, no, I was fixing to head over to the group and kick you out. Yeah, I knew you were joking. No problem. Let's see. Creative Exotic says, question, has anyone tried using crushed walnut shells as a substrate instead of shavings? It's similar to sand in texture. I'm testing it in my brooder boxes, and it's great so far. I've never tried it, but I mean, if it works, especially if it's, an inexpensive source of substrate, yeah, go for it. I don't know how it would affect the birds if they ingested it or not, so I'd be a little bit careful there. But yeah, I still use pine shavings just because pine shavings are so cheap, and it's really easy to clean, and they're absorbent. They absorb a lot of the moisture in the manures. So Nabiki, talking to Don, says they heal really fast, they grow really fast, and live really fast. They do that. Double R Farms says Quailology. It is. It's an amazing program. Yes, it is. I can't say enough about it. It's just. BK says, Lucas says, thank you, Terry. Absolutely, Lucas. Thank you. Thieving Otter Farms and everyone who donated for the kids contest. Well, Lucas, if you're watching, keep an eye on your mail. You're going to start getting prizes probably by the end of the week, maybe. If not, definitely into next week. You should start seeing some stuff coming in. Well, I can do that over on the Facebook or the Coturnix Corner group. So, let's see. Andy Rabbit says, "Oh, are we supposed to stop hatching?" No, I don't know why you said that, but no. I mean, I was hatching year round. What I tell a lot of people is, right now everything seems to slow way down for a lot of people because a lot of people, are up north, and the daylight hours get so short that, without supplemental lighting, it's hard to keep your hens laying. So everything does slow down, even for the channel. Channel slows way down. Like from mid-November through probably end of January. The channel just slows way down. But I noticed, like March and, end of February, beginning of March time frame, it really starts ramping up. The views go way up and whatnot. So, yeah, it's kind of a seasonal thing. So, but no, you don't have to stop hatching. Bolster Farm says hinges. I believe you're talking about the egg rollout cover. April says, when I get the abilities to raise them correctly, I'm going in big. Actually, I would start out small. Not that you can't handle a big operation, but starting out small, it's better to learn your mistakes on a small scale instead of a large scale. And it doesn't take long. As fast as quail mature and as fast as they breed and lay eggs and whatnot, you can start small and then say, okay, I'm ready to go big, and within a couple months you're big. It doesn't take long at all. I don't get it. Don, somebody bring me up to this. What's this stop hatching thing? Dragon Girl says, I only stop when I'm out of room. Okay, I'm starting to get the idea what's going on. Dale says, is there a known issue with the Brado incubators flooding during hatch? The first several times I thought it was something I was doing wrong, but following instructions is exactly. Dale, to be honest with you, I don't use the pump, the water pump on the Brados. I just fill them manually. When I'm incubating the first 14 days, I don't add any water anyhow, because in Florida our humidity is high enough to where without any water in the incubator, I still have a 30 to 35% humidity level, which is my target humidity. And then when I go into lockdown, I just fill up both reservoirs, and that's good to get me through lockdown. The problem, and I brought this up with Premier One, because Brado, they're over in Italy, they're not going to talk to me. But the problem with that unit that they give you, the pump, is it reads the humidity through the sensor, and if it doesn't go up, if you can't get it up to that humidity, it just keeps pumping water. So to me that's kind of a poor design. It should have for some reason, if you're in a situation where, like, say you're in an area where it's really dry, Arizona or whatever state's really, really dry, and you set your humidity at 45% or whatever, 30%, 35%, and your humidity pump, your sensor keeps reading that it's only getting up to 20%, it's just going to keep pumping water until those wells overfill. So yeah, to me that's kind of a poor setup. Like I say, I don't even use it. It's sitting up there on the shelf, and I've never had to use it. Now, if you got one like the hatching time humidity setup, theirs is a lot better, in my opinion. It's a vaporizer that is mounted on the outside of the box, and when it senses that the humidity is low, it energizes that vaporizer, vaporizes the water into a steam, a vapor, and it's drawn into the incubator, and then it stops when it reaches the humidity level that you programmed in. So yeah, no, it's not a known issue. It's just a poor setup, in my opinion. Let's see. Child of God says, saving up so to be able to order a Terribator in January. Since on Social Security you have to put things on a list. I know exactly what you mean about that, but I'm excited about it. Yeah, I think you're really going to like it. I've been tweaking them for the past couple weeks before I released them, and got it to where the incubator is pretty much child-proof. I don't want to say child-proof, but I want to say a kid could put it together, because the parts only fit in one way, and it's so simple to put together. And that was the biggest thing. I didn't want to send out a kit that was just a bunch of boards where you had to measure and make marks and screw your rails, onto one side. I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to have to you guys have to cut out holes and whatnot. So, yeah, no, this works a lot better, and it makes for a lot better looking incubator. Let's see. James Milligan says, hello, y'all. Glad you could join us, James. Emma says, hi, James. Andy Rabbit says, oh, Dragon Girl, I thought we were just supposed to build more cages. Oh, I get it. You're out of cages, so you got to stop hatching. Now it makes sense. That never stopped me. I just kept hatching and sold off what I didn't need or what I couldn't use. So, Jeremiah says the 30 hatching eggs I won a few weeks from Southwest Game Birds arrived yesterday. Went into the incubator at noon today. I'm super excited to see hatch these. Cool. Good luck on the hatch. And you are one of the select few that are getting hatching eggs from Southwest Game Birds. Just I heard somebody told me last week that they've already pulled the plug on them on the website. So Olive says, questions. I raised silky chickens and heard a while back of people hatching quail under them. Would this be possible? I've heard the same thing. I've never tried it. But yeah, I mean, if the hen, is gentle enough on the eggs, I don't see why not, because silkies are supposedly really excellent mothers, really broody hens. So yeah, give it a try. Nabiki says, I enjoy the Sunday mornings, but I usually remember about 6:30 a.m., which is a half hour after it starts. We got to put you on the call list so you know that we're going live. Watch the Terry Bader video. Nice work, and we'll upgrade come spring once we get more room for babies. Cool. I hope it was understandable. I mean, I watch. I guess when you watch yourself on camera, you think you look like an idiot, but as long as I got the point across, that's the whole point. Okay, let's see. Child of God says, have a hen in the aviary that has gone broody, letting her sit on eggs. Today thought she had abandoned them. We walked in the aviary and she went flying over to the eggs. She was probably eating. Yeah, and I think that's kind of a natural thing. I mean, in the wild, birds, especially if they're not freezing out, really too cold out, birds in the wild will get off the nest and go out and, and eat or drink. So I've never been able to get a Coturnix hen to go broody. I tried out in my aviary, but they just lazy, I guess. I don't know. Bangs Out says, how much is the regulator? If you talk about the regulator for the DIY box, I use the Inkbirds, and I just noticed today they went up a little bit in price. They used to be $15. Now they're closer to $20 on Amazon. Foster Farms is definitely going to join the Coturnix Breeders Association, trying to learn the right way to improve the breed. There you go. Those are the people that you want to do it with, because Michael Lynch is in there. Michael Lynch. Boy, sorry, Rebecca. Michael Rose, Rebecca Lynch, Bree Patz, Bryant's Roost, Jennifer Bryant. I think I got all you guys. Yeah, all of them are a wealth of information when it comes to Coturnix. Bob says, assembly video this morning was complete and thorough. Cool. Thanks, Bob. I noticed you asked a question on it. I can't remember what that question was. Sorry, Bob. I forgot what your question was. I was going to answer it either on Facebook or in the live stream, but oh, come on. What was it? Miranda says, I'll have to rewatch the first half. Just joined. Well, at least you made it. That's cool. Pamela says, how do kids enter the contest? Head on over to coturnixcorner.com. You'll have to register for the site. But once you're registered, you go in at the very top navigation bar. There's a link that says Coturnix Kids Project. Click that link. Read up on it. There's also a group in there, which is where they submit their entries and their photos, videos, stuff like that. So, cool. Yeah, do it. Olive says, I looked up the ACBA has a YouTube channel just called the American Coturnix Breeders Association. Look like it has a previous meetings posted. Yes, they do. Jennifer Bryant is the secretary, and she posts them over to the channel once the I believe it's Jennifer that does it once the original meeting is over with. Deborah says hello from Laveen, Arizona. Glad you could join us. Child of God says, wanted to have my granddaughter to enter as she is interested, but my daughter is not quite ready for that yet. Okay, well, when she is, get her in there. Buford says, Buford Amos, hi from Georgia. Glad you could join us, Buford. Bolster Farm says, hit the like button. Yeah, we got 54 likes. That's not too bad considering, the number of people that are watching. So, James Milligan says, question, are there any good quail breeders in Louisiana? To be honest with you, I don't know of any farms in Louisiana. If you're looking at shipped eggs, Thieving Otter Farm is great. Bryant's Roost. I almost said Southwest Game Birds, but he's not in there. Gopher Ridge, they're out of Georgia. They're close to you. Yeah, that's about it that I can think of off the top of my head. Fang says, need a smaller cage to house the injured bird. How are the small grow out cages from hatching time? Seeds kind of expensive at $60, $60+, but it comes with water and feeder. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't buy just a single cage. Or are you talking about a single layer? If you've got hatching time cages and you want to buy one that you could use for an add-on, I'd go that route. But for $60, to be honest with you, you could build a nice little hospital pen, out of wire, and yeah, I mean the hatching time cages are nice. I used them. My whole setup was pretty much hatching time cages, and but you can if you're only needing one cage, I would recommend just building one. Andy Rabbit says, anytime on Rebecca doing a Celadon show. I talked to her about it and she agreed. She did not give me a date yet. I told her to go ahead and put one together, put a show together, and when she's ready to get back with me. So next time I talk to her, I'll ask her about it. But it might not be until after the new year. We got a lot of stuff going on, between now and Christmas. So yeah, we'll see. Emma says, I agree. Terry, Rebecca, and Jeff's lives were brilliant. Absolutely. Double R Farm says, Jeff's an amazing poultry nutritionalist. Yes, he is. He's brilliant. And I just like listening to the guy talk. He's got one of them kind of voices that keeps you interested in what he's saying. I don't know. Some people are really good at talking. Other people, they open your mouth and you just want to leave the room. So, but Jeff's not one of them. He's a really good guy. Let's see. Fang says, I've been mixing 1 cup of layer feed, 1 cup game bird, and 1 cup flock raiser. Okay. Is that for your adult birds? That would kind of boost up, layer feed is good, and then the game bird would kind of boost up the protein a little bit. I'm not sure what's in the flock raiser, but Jeff actually recommends feeding quail just like you would chickens. A lot of people, and myself included, say start them out on game bird starter, keep them on that until they start laying, and then switch over to a layer formula. But Jeff says put them on game bird starter for the first 3 weeks. I believe it's 3 weeks. Then switch over to a grower up until the time they start laying, and then go to a layer feed. And I was really glad that he said that, because if you feed layer feed, or if you feed grower from the time they hatch out to the time they start laying, you're feeding an expensive food. The most expensive feed is layer. The higher the protein, the more the feed's going to cost. So if you can save any money from 3 weeks to 6 or 8 weeks, why not? Especially if you've got a lot of birds. Mystical Cat's in the house, says, hi, just joined in. Our quail seem to be doing better in the hatching time grow out cage. I will be moving them into the later cages soon. We have another batch of eggs in our incubator now. Cool, congratulations. Mystical Cat, didn't you contact me about an issue you were having in the grow outs, and I recommended a little bit better ventilation? If that was you, then I'm glad that that helped and they're doing better. So cool. Talk to me. Andy Rabbit says, I put a false floor on my cage about 9 inches below. That's one of the best ways to keep the predators away from the bottom of the cage. Fang says, my home security camera caught a rat climbing on my lanai screens. Wow. You know, we had an issue at one time. It's almost embarrassing to mention, but under our soffits, we got, originally it was just screen, like a fiberglass screening. And we had rats actually get up into our attic by going up through that lanai. And, it drove us nuts. I mean, you could hear them running on the ceiling at night. So I went up there and, like an idiot, I made the mistake of putting out poison. Well, I killed the rats, but they died in my attic, and it stunk to high heaven. So anyhow, I went through and tore out all my soffits, put up all new boards, and stapled it's a metal screen soffit cover. Stapled that up there. Now there's no way anything can get up in there. So yeah, that took care of the problem. But yeah, rats are. I even had squirrels up there at one time, believe it or not. Antonio says, on vacation, really do miss maintaining my quail. What do you think will be the first thing you'll notice about your own quail? What do you think will be the first thing you notice about your own quail? Tell you what, the first thing I'm going to notice is how soon they're going to start laying, because if it wasn't for a buddy of mine who lives out in Lehigh, which is not too far from me, bringing me eating eggs, I wouldn't have any quail eggs. So, yeah, I would miss the eggs. If I was gone for any certain amount of time, I would definitely miss the eggs. Okay, Nabiki said I had 20 eggs, so yeah, only 25% hatched. Very sad. Yeah, that's... I got a feeling, Nabiki, that was an issue with the post office. I mean, one, you had a poor hatch rate, so they probably beat your eggs up. Yeah, that's a shame, too. Emma says, I had a rat run at me once. It was on a mission to get me. I did scream and run, yes. Or did I scream and run? Yes. Rats. Mystical Cat says, question, any recommendations about raising quail outside from brooder to aviary setting? We want to get them moved outside on our 18 acres of forested land. We think they will be healthier for them and us. Yeah, I mean, my quail did really well out in the aviary, and I'm sure they enjoyed it more. I mean, they're out in fresh air, you know, they got room to move and run. So yeah, it's definitely, I think they prefer it more. But as far as moving them from brooder to an aviary setting, once your birds are 3 to 4 weeks old, they're going to be fully feathered. Wean them off the light. You know, maybe at around 2.5 weeks, start cutting the light off during the day. And if it's chilly at night, keep it on, you know, at night. But slowly wean them off the light. By the time they're, well, for me, by the time they're 3 weeks old, they're totally off the light. And then by 4 weeks, when they're fully feathered, move them outside. They should do just fine. Nabiki said, my old place had a rat problem. I spoke to an exterminator, and he was going to charge me $600 to set snap traps. He said that he would set them in a circle and put quail feed in the middle. Boy. I think I could come up with a better idea than that. Nabiki says, I did the circle of traps and caught a bunch. Oh, cool. I didn't hire the exterminator since I could do that myself. You know, I seen, and I don't know how well they work, but I've seen a lot of videos on people catching rats in those buckets with the lid that kind of tips down. I guess those are for people that didn't want to kill them, but they look like they caught a lot of rats. So, you know, that would be an idea. Bang says, sorry, the name of the trap is called Tomcat Rat Snap Trap. Snap Trap. Okay. Okay, where are we at here? Emma Ball says, rats is how I lost my first batch of quail many years ago. It put me off having them for many years. I don't want to feel that again because I love having the birds so much. Yeah, it would be kind of depressing if you lost all your birds to predators. Emma Ball says, yes, Terry, that's how he got in through the inch gap in front of the cage where the birds get access to feed. Couldn't even believe a rat could fit through that, but now I do. Yeah, rats can flatten themselves out. I mean, it's amazing the stuff that they can get into. Mice are even smaller. I mean, they can get, a mouse, I would say, could probably get through half by one flooring. They could squeeze through it. But yeah, Fang says, I thought the Nurturite had good reviews. You know, I've heard a lot of people say that they love the Nurturite, but I've tried them. I had 5 of them given to me back when I first got into it, and I thought, cool, I'll never need another incubator. And they weren't up to the game. Once you move up, like say you got a hatching time incubator and you're getting, hatches 50-60% range, and then you move up to a good incubator, a more professional incubator, you'll be surprised at how much better your hatch rates will be. I never knew that. I mean, when I started out, I used them hatching time, and back then I didn't want to buy another incubator, so I built the DIY box. And right out of the gate, that DIY box smoked the hatching time incubators. I'm not the hatching time, my God, don't let them hear me say that. The Nurturite incubators. But I did a review here on the channel. If you want to watch that, you'll get my thoughts on it. Wolster Farm says, we have used the water bucket trap in the past to trap rats. If you put sunflower seeds in the water, they think it's a solid floor. Oh, wow, that's a good idea. And when they jump in, they sink. Problem solved. YouTube for builds. Yep. Cool. Miranda says, I've had my styrofoam incubator since 2005, still working today. I don't hatch in it, but the humidity and temp are great. I used to use those styrofoam little giants, or hovabators, I believe they were called. I used to use those a lot for hatching out reptile eggs. And yeah, they worked really good. Once you got them tweaked to where they would hold the temperature that you wanted, yeah, they worked great. Don says, Fangs, you can get a Verado Lumia 8, holds 32 quail eggs for $10 more than the 360. Had it for a year. It shrink wraps the shells, and they are pipping if they are kicked into the outer edge. Yeah, like I say, I'm not a fan of Nurturites. Miranda says, I did add a fan in the center with air directed downward to better disperse the heat that hangs from the paper clips 1 to 2 inches from the lid. Yeah, I actually think they make a kit for that that you can buy it's an add-on fan kit or whatever they call it. Andy Rabbit says, LOL, I have a 5-gallon bucket that has water in it. I keep finding dead mice in it, so I leave it sitting there. There you go. Double R Farm said the Van Poe Pubs is on sale, $79 right now. I would recommend it. Next is the Trio Cottage on Amazon. Aside from those, I would get a Hatching Time CT series. I have them, and it is great. Yep. Yeah, like I say, I've had really good success with the Van Poe Pubs. I didn't do any shipped eggs in it, but of my eggs, I was getting 80 and 90% hatch rates on my. I did 5 test hatches total, and all the hatch rates were above 80%. And yeah, the Hatching Time CT series, I agree 100%. That's a plug and play incubator that works perfect. Don says, I sent my Van Poe Pubs back twice and got something else for my backup incubator. It was not worth it. Yeah, I think, Don, you just got, a case of bad luck there, just because I've got 2 that both tested out fine and they work great. And I know of half a dozen other people that have tested them out and said they work just fine. Fangs Out says, my Nurturite ever bites the dust, I'm going to get myself a Terribator. There you go. Leaving Out a Farm says, nope, none of my lines are yet ready for spiral breeding. There you go. Yeah, like I say, that is a tool in your breeding arsenal. I can't recommend Michael Rose's courses enough. If you want next level information on keeping quail, that's it in that group. I mean, I've learned more just from that course in less than 6 months than I've learned the entire time that I've kept quail, and it set me straight on a lot of stuff that I thought I was doing right, and I found out, wow, all this time I was doing it wrong. So, yep. Andy Rabbit says, this next year I'm going to try to get my spiral breeding program working for me. Yeah, Andy, use it as a tool. Tweak your lines first. Get them to where you want them. Then use them. Then use the spiral breeding program to keep that line the way you want it, and slowly keep stepping it up, better and better. Okay, we are getting, it's 8:15, so I'm going to skip over the stuff that's not talking to me. Andy says, LOL is going to try and get some extra eggs for them to send to Dawn, but she got lucky and they were sent out already. Okay, talking to Dawn, not talking to me. Talking to Bob. Emma says, where can Quailology be found? What is the cost? Can UK residents join? Yeah, I don't see any reason why UK can't join. For now, it's at ccquail.com. And Carrie, if you're in the house, if you could put that in the chat room, type it in there. It's ccquail.com. I know that Michael has reserved a quailology.com, I believe is the domain name. And he's going to move over there when he gets everything set up. But, yeah. Debiki says just about everything, but retail slows down November to January. Yep. And he says, I said stop hatching because you said something about when people start up hatching again in the spring. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean. Most diehards don't stop, but a lot of people that are up north, in areas where their hens don't lay year round because of daylight hours, they stop until springtime and start back up again. Talking to Bob. Double R Farms says quail math is worse than chicken math. Yeah, it is. Mary Jones says you're the absolute best. I've learned so much from watching you. Thank you. Absolutely. I mean, that's what the channel's here for, and it's not just me. It's everybody, that steps up and, either joins in on the live streams or helps out in the chat room or helps out over on the Facebook group pages. They're the real reason Coturnix Corner kind of went in the direction it did and became as large as it did, membership wise, because, we've got a lot of what I consider experts, that are helping us out. Don, don't ever put your incubators away. You'll never know when you'll need them. Okay, there's the address from Double R Farms for the Quailology website, ccquail.com. Debiki says, anyone else who has the Barato feel like that humidity pump is incredibly loud? It sounds like someone screaming. I don't remember using it. Like I say, I only used it one time, and yeah, it worked, but I don't put water in the incubator up until lockdown, before lockdown, so I really didn't need it. But I did test it out when I did the review, and to me it doesn't seem like a very well thought out humidity pump. Yeah, it pumps water into the incubator, but it doesn't shut off until the humidity gets to where it's supposed to be, and it just doesn't make sense. But I guess I got spoiled with the hatching time unit. So Andy Rabbit says, oh yes, Don, the New Year hatch really ain't this year. It is it? Nope. All right. Lauren says, question, do you have or are you planning to release your CNC plans? I am not. I mean, I do have them, but I don't release my CNC projects. Just that's stuff that I work too hard on, just give away, and I don't sell plans. So sorry about that. Uh-oh. Hold on, guys. Don says, question, Terry, I'm filling my last cage with this Christmas hatch on eggs I won. I will have too many roos to keep there till freezer. How do I get rid of them like 4 weeks old? How do I get rid of them like 4 weeks old? Post them on Craigslist. I mean, the only thing I could think of. There are some, the only problem with posting them outside of your location is you're going to have to ship. And unless you've shipped live birds before, I don't recommend it. Craigslist is, you can't hang on to them for a couple more weeks and butcher at, 6 or 7 weeks. That's what I would do. Nabiki said, I have heard that silkies can hatch the eggs, but the chicks get stuck in their feathers. We're doing our third hatch, first during the winter, and it's timed perfectly with our daughter's birthday. She's excited to share her special day with hopefully 30 or so birds. Cool. Congratulations. Hope you have a good hatch. And he says, I had a little hen, chicken, that would set quail eggs under. She hatched out a few sets, but something always got a hold of the babies. Fawn says, I'll be ordering my Terry baiter on Friday. So excited. Cool. Yeah, I think you'll really like it. Go back and watch the first video of the DIY build video. You'll get a really good idea from that as far as setting up the incubator after you've built the cabinet. I'm talking about the electronics, the fans, heating elements, that kind of stuff. Mark says there's a call list. Add me as well. We really need a call list for Sunday because I actually had one of the Coturnix Corner Group members message me and say, Terry, are you awake? Are you ready to go live? So Bob says, my question was about the egg holders, turners. Will they fit the Terry baiter? Bob, I remember that question now. The DIY box was designed around the oh my god, the egg turner that Tractor Supply sells. What's the name of the Little Giant egg turner? Wow, what an idiot. Yes, it's 16 inches wide inside the box, and the rails stick out 1.25 inches from each side. So if you've got an egg turner that measures, say, 15.5 to 16 inches wide, then yes, they'll slide right in there and you can use them. You could actually use even the hatching time. Oh, wow. I've got one right here. I didn't even realize that. This is the style turner that the incubator was built around. So, but you could use like the hatching time turners. They're a little bit narrower, but you could always rig something up in the box to set it on. You could actually set it right on the bottom of the box, but that wouldn't leave you any room for your water tray. So, yeah. Alicia's question is 55% humidity too high for the first 14 days of incubation. Filling one chamber of the Bravado 8 makes humidity go up over 60, so I've just been adding a few drops of water below 40%. If you use the Bravado, I incubate at 30 to 35% for the first 14 days. After that, I fill up both chambers. It usually gets me right around the 65% humidity range. So yeah, 55% to me is too high. I wouldn't recommend that because that you're not going to have enough evaporation of moisture from the egg to allow that air cell to grow to the size it needs to be. So try it without no water in your Bravado and see what you get. If you get anywhere between 30 and 35, go with that until lockdown, then fill up both reservoirs and you should be fine. Alicia says, this is my first time not doing a dry hatch. Okay, so you've already done dry hatches. That's all I do is dry hatches. I've always had a lot better luck than trying to do a wet hatch. Miranda says, I ordered from Gidras. They're great. I'm in North Louisiana, and they ship really quick. There you go. I don't know who they are, but okay. Olive says, dang, I missed a huge part of the live. I'll have to rewind afterwards. Okay. Mary Jones says, what cage do you prefer, the Winola Ranch, which is what I currently have, or the hatching time, and why? Secondly, best way to get rid of their waste I currently burn in our fire pit. Thanks in advance. If I was to buy a commercial cage, I would get the hatching time cage, mainly because I've had Winola Ranch cages. I've had some issues with rust. I've had issues with, even though they had the coated 1/2x1 flooring, I still had some issues with bumblefoot. I've never had a bumblefoot issue in a hatching time cage. Even with the larger partridge flooring, they call it, I've never had no issues with them. The only thing that I don't, well, the only thing that I change on the hatching time cages is I switch from a vertical nipple to a horizontal. I replace the plastic manure trays with the galvanized automotive drip pans. They're a little bit bigger. They catch that poop that seems to always somehow get out the front of the cage and land in the feeder of the cage below it. Depending on how much manure you're producing, I mean, preferably I would make a compost pile and compost it. That way you got something to use in the garden. But if you don't want to do that and you don't want to burn it anymore, I got 1, 2, 3 garbage cans that we were filling up every week and setting out for the trash man. Normally everything went out into the compost pile, but my bees are right next to where my compost pile was, and I didn't want my wife walking past the bees, to empty the manure tub on the compost bin. So I know, excuses for everything, but yeah. So the garbage man got probably 6 or 8 months worth of manure. Yep, adult bird, the flock raiser is 20%. Okay, that makes sense. Lauren says, all of us chuckling because we like listening to you, Jerry. Also, your videos are some of my favorite on YouTube. Cool, glad to hear that. All right, I'm going to skip over some of these because we are almost 8:30 and I haven't eaten dinner yet. So, okay, Mystical Cat says, yes, you did. I replied by email. Is there a way to help their poop from being so sticky in the corners where the floor meets the wall? Do you have the larger flooring, the partridge flooring, which is 1/2x1, or do you have the smaller stuff? If you have the smaller stuff, it's going to happen. I got rid of all the smaller flooring, replaced it with the larger partridge flooring, and once I went to the partridge flooring, I didn't have any manure sticking anywhere in the cage. So, yeah, if you're going to stick with that smaller flooring, you're just going to end up having to wheel your cage outside and hose it off real quick. And if it's warm enough, you can actually do it with the birds in it. I know Jennifer Bryant, she uses a lot of hatching time cages, and she washes them out with the birds in the cage. Just move the feeders, hose the cage off, let it dry a little bit, put the feeders back on, you're good to go. But kind of hard to do in the wintertime. All right. Miranda says, leopard geckos are what I first hatched in that incubator set in vermiculite. Exactly. Bearded dragons, leopard geckos. I did a bunch of Xenogamma taylori, which is the shield tailogrammas. Yeah, no, they work great. Okay. Lisa said, it's so weird. When I fill both waters at lockdown in the summer, the humidity is too low, so I've added sponges. Usually have good hatches. If you're getting it up to, at least 50%, you're filling the reservoirs at lockdown, and it's only getting to say 50%. To me, that's close enough for going into lockdown. I've even seen people not add any water, the entire hatch, dry hatch all the way through the end, and still get successful hatches. So, I wouldn't obsess over humidity. I mean, It seems to me a lot of people do that. They're worried about getting an exact number on humidity. I don't even pay attention to my hygrometers anymore. I just, I know no water for the first 14 days, fill them up, and let the chicks hatch. Olive says, how much is the course? It's been a while. I want to say 35. You're gonna have to go over to ccquail.com and look. I don't want to say exactly what it is because I don't know. It's been a while. I didn't pay for the course, so I don't know exactly what he's charging, but it seems to me 35 sticks in my head. 35 a month is what it is. Dragon Girl says, by the way, eggs or gift certificate if you're giving them out this live stream. Yeah, if we ever get to the end of the live stream, we are. Practical Junk made it. Hello from Tennessee. Terry, it's always a pleasure. Finally got a chance to watch your incubator build. Good job. Cool. Glad you enjoyed it. Katie says, how much are you selling your incubators for, Terry? The kit incubator is $135 plus shipping, and that includes everything you need to build the cabinet. I also include the plexiglass for the door and the two light bulb sockets for your heating elements. There's your ccquail.com. Lauren says, if he needs help with quailology, I have my own web development company that I could get set up super fast for him. I would do it just to help the community. I think they've already got that covered, but if you want, reach out to Michael and see, but I'm pretty sure they've already got that taken care of. Chris says, love the live question and answers. Yeah, something we do. And it's enjoyable. I like talking with you guys. Oh, wow. I'm extending. Did I just see a dog back there in a chair? Yeah, there's Cookie right there sleeping behind me. That's why there's a pillow back there. Usually the pillow's for my back, but Cookie likes to sleep on there. She's my little shadow. That dog follows me everywhere I go. All right, guys, I got to call it great. There you go. Folsom Farm says 4-week-old quail, great size for the falconry crowd. There you go. Reach out to them, guys. Thanks, Terry. It's only on day 2. Plenty of time to adjust. Absolutely. Where do you get the automotive drip pans from? Best place I find to get them is go to Advanced Auto Parts online. Order them online. You get them. One, they're listed cheaper online than they are in the store, and also you can get like a 20 to 25% discount. They got usually a code right at the top of the page. If you don't have Advanced Auto Parts in your area, go to walmart.com. Believe it or not, Walmart sells them cheaper than Advanced does. How or why, I don't know, but if you order through Walmart, Advanced will ship them to you via UPS. So there you go. Alex says, thanks for the idea about the auto pans. Great idea. I'm definitely going to get some. Yeah, they're well worth it. They last so much longer. I mean, Hatching Time did improve on their manure tray. They made it out of a heavier plastic with deeper sides, but it's still not long enough for me. I like it longer. And David Hazy Bees Honey says, Terry, what is the size drip pan for the Hatching Time cages? They are 24 by 36. So like I say, if you order them through Advanced Auto Parts or Walmart, that's the size pan. The pan, the name of the pan is, oh Lord. Now I keep wanting to say like Matco or something like that, but that's not it. I'll see if I think of it here in the next few minutes. Emma says, question, is rust a cause for concern or health issue for birds? Well, I know it can, if it's on the floor of the cage, yeah, it can be, it's rougher. Rust is almost like a sandpaper. That can, really affect their feet. So yeah, I mean, always go with a coated floor. All the wire I use on all my cages, either ones that I bought or cages that I build, they all have coated, plastic coated floors in them. Emma says, question, I'm wondering if All steel used has to be galvanized, and if it could be used as a main shelter material, as I see most of the wood or mesh or plastic. Yeah, definitely. I wouldn't go with all steel because that's definitely going to rust. Galvanized will do better, but you can get galvanic corrosion on galvanized wire. Plastic coated wire is the best. Okay, Double R Farm says $30 a month at the moment. Okay, cool. Flow Tool, thank you very much. Flow Tool is exactly the name I was trying to think of. Thank you, Alicia. $15.99, Alicia says. Bob says, thanks for what you do to help the community, Terry. Absolutely. All right, guys. Thanks for joining me tonight. Really appreciate it. And I bet you thought that I was going to skip the giveaways. No, I'm not going to do that. Carrie, if you don't mind, put my email address in the chat room, terry@coturnixcorner.com. For those of you who are getting called to win a prize, you need to email me your shipping information. I need, obviously, your name, address, good phone number, and a good email address. Sometimes I get people that'll email me, and you reply to that email, and it doesn't work for whatever. So make sure it's a good email address or one that you check, because a lot of times these companies need to get a hold of you. Matter of fact, the Hatching Time gift certificate is emailed to you, so that needs to be given. All right. Hopefully, you guys hung around long enough to see if you won. Fawn Taylor, you're getting a 20 count of Thieving Otter Farms hatching eggs. Lauren Kornzinski, I know I screwed that up, sorry. 30 count of Bryant's Roost hatching eggs. Dragon Girls, you're getting a $50 Hatching Time gift certificate. I hope you can use that. Appreciate that, Carrie. Okay, guys, my email address is there in the chat room. So if I called your name, email me your information, and I will forward that on to the people that need it. I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. I really appreciate it. Congrats again to Lucas Ronalda, I hope I said that right, winner of the Coturnix Kids Project. I hope you enjoy your prize and hope it gives you a good start at 9 a.m. Good time. Bring your coffee and kick back and talk about whatever. Otherwise, we'll see you guys next week, Tuesday. Don't know if I have a guest yet or not. I will check around and see, if we can get somebody that wants to come on the show and talk quail with us. So, guys, have a great week. Thanks for joining me today, and we'll see you guys on Sunday.